ahead.
Yeah, okay.
I motion to call this.
No,
do I-
just
do I
call.
this meeting to order.
Yeah, just call the meeting to order.
All right, it is time for a roll call. Do we do the motion first?
Yeah, you really should. The Code of Virginia requires that when you have a participant, a member who wants to participate electronically, this board is supposed to pass a motion to allow that member to participate electronically. So if one of you would make that motion and pass the motion, Roy can join in.
I so motion. Do you have a second?
Okay. Second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Yeah,
Aye.
okay.
Perfect. All right, thank you. All right, so for roll call, Billy Barrick,
Here.
Taryn Bryce Rowland, Bruce Sanders.
Here.
Samuel Rice.
Here.
Roy's on, I
Okay,
think.
Roy Carter.
I'm on. Can you hear me?
Gotcha. Thank you very much, Roy.
Okay.
We have a busy schedule, so I'm going to keep us moving. At this point, welcome to everybody who's here for grant requests. Thank you so much for being here, and we just appreciate the civic engagement that's taking place here today, so we appreciate it. I'm going to first start off with Riva Handyman's grant request. If you'd like to come up and just share.
Jason is actually online. He's in Richmond today. And just for the benefit of those who are present, the way this works is all of you will make your request at the beginning of the meeting, and then the board will have a closed meeting later on during this meeting to decide the results of what you get. If they decide to make a grant. And it may be anywhere between what you, zero and what you've requested. So just FYI.
Perfect. Also, I guess information, I don't know if we have 10 minutes slotted for everybody for both your presentations and Q&A. So if you could be mindful of that, we do ask quite a few questions up here. So no pressure to take the full 10 minutes. We'll help you fill it. So, all right.
So Jason, are you online?
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear
Yes.
you. Jason, I've got your PowerPoint up on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
I can see it partially, but I have it up here and I'll follow here and I'll just tell you, now it's full screen. So yes, I can see it now.
Okay. All right. You just tell me when to advance the slides and I'll do it for you.
Okay, I'll get started then. Thank you, everybody, for this opportunity to present this new business opportunity in Lancaster County called River Handyman. Don, you can go ahead and advance to the next slide.
All right. Let me see. Well, if I can figure out how to do it. Glenn, hold on, Jason. You've got somebody technically challenged here running this laptop.
No worries.
Oh, what did I do?
Back one.
Oh, now I'm really back. Hold on.
You got this.
All right. Slideshow from beginning. Okay. I'm with you now, Jason.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you again for letting me join virtually and present this from Richmond today. I'm here up here for VACO today. River Handyman is going to be a new business opportunity I'm going to offer in Lancaster County. River Handyman will be a home business and repair. Let us tackle your home business and maintenance, whether it's a leaky faucet or a complete room makeover. We've got you covered. Top quality services and workmanship at affordable prices in the Northern Neck. Your home should be a sanctuary and not a chore. Don, you can proceed on. Introduction. Initially, I'm going to create 2 full-time skilled labor jobs and 1 part-time job. Generate at least $250,000 in new revenue to the area. This will provide an opportunity to partner with the local schools to build on the internships and introduce students to the building industry, something we've been trying to work on locally. It creates a new workforce in a critical shortage area for the local area. And I plan on providing a 21st century type of business with full e-capability. This will be a unique opportunity for this type of business where you'll be able to manage and book your appointments and necessary maintenance and things through complete online capabilities. Next slide. Creating jobs. Based on research data, the average cost of creating a job in America is approximately $4,000, and this comes from the Small Business Association. I'm not sure if you can see this graph here. This is a graph from the World Bank showing how $10 million in investment in different sectors creates different numbers of jobs. Construction is one of the highest cost per job at around $30,000 per job, and this is mainly due to the cost of materials and training and things that go into creating skilled labor jobs. Next slide. River Handyman will be a new business growth opportunity in a much-needed professional services field locally. It will allow for our aging populations to stay in their homes longer. We'll provide trade internship opportunities in conjunction with local tech and high schools. We'll be a service provider for the growing short-term rental economy, local provider for solar site maintenance, and e-services capability business, including requesting estimates and services through your mobile device or computer online. Go ahead to the next slide. My service area will be mostly beginning in the Northern Neck and Middle Peninsula. Some of the sample services that we will provide: power washing, tiling, electrical and plumbing fixture installs and upgrades, painting, drywall repairs, room remodels, deck repairs, landscaping, debris removal, and solar site maintenance services. You can go to the next slide. The operational structure. We have one owner, president, business manager, estimator. That's myself. I have one full-time field foreman and service provider that I've hired. I'm in the process of hiring a part-time assistants and plan on 2 additional jobs to manage the solar site maintenance as this new operator continues to develop and grow in the area. My market analysis: the average home price in Lancaster County sold is approximately $400,000. We will be offering competitive wages well above the $34,000 average for these type of jobs in Virginia. Currently, if you were looking for services in these areas, in the local area, it's approximately 4 to 6 wait for a homeowner to receive these types of services due to the large backlog of work in the area. Also, many of our current contractors are beginning to age out and are retiring. This is going to further exacerbate skilled labor shortages in their area. The time to invest in new business in these markets is now. The proceeds of this grant will go into funding the startup of this business. These are some of the items that I've worked on to acquire for this business. I'm going to need a contractor trailer. Employment uniforms, marketing and signage, a second set of tools for my additional employee, website development. This is mainly because of the interactive website that I'm working on developing, so people will be able to book and schedule their work on completely online. So there's quite a bit of development going into that. Computer equipment to manage the work on the job sites, and construction management software. So the $10,000 grant request will go toward this $27,000 initial startup budget. And that is all I have to present directly, and I will now take questions.
145.
All right. Billy, I'm going to start with you. Do you have any questions today?
Jason, I think it's a great concept. It's Billy Barrick here. As an owner of rental property, it is definitely a concern to get work and labor timely. I think your business model is great, and I think it's just a good concept for our area, so I commend you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bruce, do you have questions?
No, I'd just like to say it's a very well thought out and presented.
Sure. Sam, do you have questions?
No, I don't, but I second that,
Okay.
what Bruce said.
Y'all
Okay,
are making
I do have a
liars out of me
question,
in
though.
terms of questions.
Yeah, Roy's got one.
Okay, Roy. Oh, Roy?
Yeah. Jason, on your financial plan,
Yes.
on year-to-date, all the way over 2023, starting out with wages and salaries and everything, you've got 120, and then you keep going down with all these different expenses, and then total expense is 169.5. When I add it, am I supposed to add all those together, the 120, the 3,100, 6,000, 1,800, 1,200, and that's where you get total?
Let me bring up that business plan real quick so I can look at exactly what you're referring to.
Okay.
Give me just a second.
9. Roy?
I don't have a page number on this. It's just under, it says, item number 5, financial plan.
Yeah, it's
Yes, I believe that is page 9. And what were you referring to now?
The total expenses near the bottom, for year to date, 169.5.
Yes, that should be the total of that column.
Okay, but that includes your tax expenses also that's backed up, that's underneath it.
Yeah, well, that's a separate line, total.
Separate, okay, because when I added those figures, the 120, the 3,100 and going down, I didn't get to 169, it was more like 149 or so. So I didn't know if those were expenses, included, including the taxes, it would probably be 169 or approximately.
It's supposed to total down to total expenses of it, like say January, you go all the way down and it totals to 14,125. And that carries across each column. And that
Right.
comes to 169.5. And then you have before taxes and then total tax expenses. And then, so those are what those numbers are. They're separately added up there.
Okay, all right, my math must not be on. I applaud you for doing this. Is this a franchise?
Well, at first, no, but I intend to potentially create my own franchise model off this. We'll see in the future how this rolls out and how popular it is. But
Excellent.
I do think about potentially franchising this like other city models where they have types of handymans that are franchise models.
Great. Well, you got a good business model. I appreciate you doing this. What is the cost per hour for a handyman to come to the house? Does it vary, or do you just have a set charge of X number of dollars per hour?
Well, there'll be a particular hour per charge, but there'll be like a direct like trip cost as well. Like it would probably be, I'm thinking somewhere around $99 for just for the visit. But we will get free estimates and things like that. So we will come out and give you an estimate if you need a job estimate, or if you just want to request work, it'll be a $99 trip charge plus whatever the cost of the actual labor and time on the job and materials.
Okay, great. And you already have a full-time person?
Yes, I've already agreed and have that person on, and I'm working on bringing a part-time person on. And like I said, I'm depending on the other side of this business, which is going to be the solar maintenance, which is kind of a unique aspect of this business as well, but it's a growing sector in our area, and those folks need services as well. So I figure this is a good opportunity to expand in that area, and as that grows, I will continue to hire people to manage that side of the business as well.
Great. Thank you very much. I think if there's anyone that knows the needs of our county, you certainly are right at the top of that list. You know what we need. So thank you, Jason.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. Thank you for this opportunity to present today.
I still have a couple questions myself.
Go ahead.
Jason, I'm looking at the service revenue, and I'm wondering what the breakdown is in terms of the jobs that you're expecting to get to $30,000 a month for, I mean, some of your more, your months with greater revenue. Is that?
I put more revenue in those spring months based on the economy in the area. This is when people start coming back in the area. This is when a lot of the short-term rentals and transient people move back to the area or come to their second homes. I base these numbers, I do side work currently.
Okay.
And so I base this estimates off of what I do currently and the amount of time that I put into it and scale that up to if it was basically being done on a full-time basis. And I know that during those months is when I get a lot more requests. So that's why those months have a little bit higher amounts during that time.
Perfect. And in terms of the work that's being done, what do you expect the breakdown to be between the categories of work you're talking about with solar, solar maintenance, dock repairs? Like, what is your expectation?
I prospected most of my business starting off will be home maintenance types of work. I do work for some small businesses in the area too, so some of the same type of maintenance that would require at small businesses as well. But the solar site is kind of a new thing, and I'm working on potentially one client with that right now. But I suspect there's a lot of service demand for that in the area too, because there's really nobody providing services for solar site maintenance in our area.
Okay. And then I noticed also in the plan that the breakdown is that in terms of the service area, we've talked about it being Lancaster and the middle, or not Lancaster, excuse me, the northern neck and the middle peninsula. How much do you anticipate being outside of Lancaster?
Well, currently, most of my work is in Lancaster, but if I can fulfill all my business requirements within Lancaster or in the Northern Neck region, I will stay on this side of the river, but I know there's a lot of demand elsewhere too. So depending on what the local demand is, which will be my first priority, I will expand out into other areas as business requires and is needed.
Sure. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Anybody else? New questions? Nope. Wonderful. We're a couple minutes over, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you all very much, and I look forward to hearing the outcome of the meeting later today.
Most certainly. Be in touch. All right. Now it is time for the grant request for Refuel Irvington with Albert Pollard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Albert Pollard, I apologize for being in a coat and tie. I've got to go up to Richmond later on today, so normally I wouldn't be dressed this way. As you all know, my application is for matching grant in order to put in two level 2 EV chargers in Irvington at a place that I call, that's called Refuel. If you could, Mr. Rice, take one of those and pass it down. As I'm sure you all are aware, EV adoption rates have been doubling in recent years. In the U.S., 10% of the EVs, or 10% of the new cars sold last year were electric vehicles. In Virginia, the rate is not quite that high. It's closer to 7%, but it is still doubling. So, you know, it is catching up very quickly. When the call for EV infrastructure is in Governor Youngkin's energy plan, as well as in many other official state documents. And at this point, EVs tend to be owned by higher income individuals. So if they are looking to come down to the county, they look at a public map and they see that there's no EV charging present. There is a Tesla site that's advertised, or that's kind of labeled. There's sort of it's called Charge Share, where I own an electric vehicle, where you can look up and see where there are EV charging sites. I actually called up to the ACE. This was a Tesla charging station, Horns ACE in Kilmarnock. I called up there and said, hey, I've got a friend coming down with the Tesla, which happened to be true. Can he charge? And they said, no, we're sorry, that's private. So even that information, which I put in the application, is not accurate. The Tides does have EV chargers, but there's a sign on them that they are reserved for their guests. My thought is that I put these chargers at a 2-acre site that I have in Irvington, where I've built some small vacation homes, but they would be open to the public. I would put it on all of the public websites that they're open to the public. Obviously, it's a benefit to the folks who stay at my place, but they're open to the public, so if somebody wants to park there, it's an 8-minute walk up to the shops in Irvington, or if somebody's down here renting an Airbnb for the weekend, they can, drop their car off there and charge. At this point, as I said, EVs do tend to be owned by higher income individuals, so they will have money to bring to the county. These level 2 chargers, so there's a level 1, level 2, and level 3 chargers. The level 3 chargers are the super expensive ones that'll charge your car in about 45 minutes. A level 2 charger that I'm contemplating would add about 100 miles of range in about 4 hours. My experience with an EV is that you don't typically look to get a full charge if you're traveling. You're looking to get enough of a charge to get you back home. So if somebody comes down in a car that's similar to mine, a Chevy Bolt, you come down, if you're from Northern Virginia, you say, I need 75 miles to feel comfortable on my return trip. You charge for 3 hours and you're done. I'd also like to point out that this grant meets all of the grant criteria except for one. You all have 8 grant criteria. The award needs to be used within 6 months. I can meet that. Prioritize a unique business to the area. It's not a unique business, but it is an opportunity. It's clearly infrastructure build-out. I have 50% matching funds. It is not a hub zone applicant. That's where I fall short. I do believe there will be jobs created because people will park, will walk around, will spend their money. This is why Wawas are installing EV charging. It's a realistic business plan, and the grant request is self-sustaining. After they are installed, they will remain public. Looking through at the budget that I have, I included information on several different types of chargers. I had actually looked at a grant that was available through Dominion Power, but they had specific types of chargers that they wanted, and that was going to be an $11,000 charger with a 50% match. I'm not in the right tax bracket to make that work. So the one that I have is relatively more modest at $4,378, with the credit card reader being another $1,600. Talked to Chris Hanley, who's installed some of these. He figured that it would be $1,500 to install. You've got to pour the concrete with putting the bolts up, $400 if I do a little bit of the work. Then you've got registration, in-kind labor, social media promotion, and so forth. And then the in-kind ongoing management and the donation of the parking spots. I actually realized this morning that I forgot to include that I'm also going to be providing the internet to these chargers so that the credit card reader can work. 3-year cost of $10,212 with the in-kind match. My request to the IDA, I understand that you all have many competing and unique opportunities before you. If you do cut the budget, and I certainly understand that budgets can get cut, this is for the dual bollard, the single charge bollard, which I would rather not go with, because if you've got one car charging for 4 hours, somebody's got to wait for a long time. But if you do cut it, that unit costs $2,469. The credit card reader is going to cost the same, but the estimated install and other things I think can get cut in half. So, I think that would bring it down and free up cash as you all make your decisions. Once again, I would prefer not to do that because I think it leaves flexibility, and EV adoption rate is rapidly increasing. So that, I could take more time, but Don Gill told me not to.
I am actually an EV owner, so this is an issue near and dear to my heart, and I am constantly harping about how the Northern Next infrastructure is going to be, or lack of infrastructure, is going to be a liability in terms of our ability to bring in high-end tourists, because they can't get home. If they can get here, they can't get home, in many cases. So I do have questions. I think if you guys don't mind, unless anybody else is familiar with this, I'm going to start us off. What ampage are you looking at with the Bosch? I didn't see that.
The Bosch is a 25 amp
It's 25
charger,
amp,
so
it's a little-
it's the high end of the level 2. Would be another way to.
I don't know. Well, I was gonna say,
Excuse me. The highest end I think is a 50 or.
Yeah,
40.
I've got a 4850 at home, or I can't remember if it's 48 or 50 at home. But I guess my biggest concern is knowing that it is a 4-hour charge, and this is at like a lodging facility. This could be as we see more folks adopt EVs. This could eventually, I see this being dominated by usage at your location. How do we know for sure that, I understand you can't ensure that it'll only be used, it'll be by the public, but how do we know that you won't see a need for it to be public anymore and then turn it off?
In my experience, EV owners, well, first of all, you could write it into the grant that it stays public.
Okay. As long as you're comfortable with that.
And I am also planning to put a cafe on site, and that
Okay.
parking lot is also going to be part of the cafe. So it literally can't, by design, be
Okay.
cordoned off. But in my experience, EV owners are pretty considerate about, it's been 4 hours and 30 minutes, I better move my car. And so, and I'm certainly not adverse to putting signage up that says, once you meet your needed charge, please park in a space right next door.
Is the Bosch capable of charging an idling fee afterwards so that you could, part of your business model would be to incentivize them to leave by saying if they stay beyond the end of their time that they'd pay something exorbitant?
I don't believe it is, but I don't believe it is. I think it's pretty basic,
Okay.
Flat fee.
What is your business model going to be in terms of how you charge? Are you going to go by the minute, by kilowatt hour?
If I go with the Bosch, I'm going to have to go with a flat fee charge.
Really?
Yes. But, my thought is, look, I mean, the cost to charge, so the cost to charge an EV is about the same as running an electric dryer. So I'm probably going to charge, I've got to do some math. I'm probably just going to charge like a flat $7 fee. I'm going to lose money on some of it. I'm going to make money on some of it.
Sure.
And it's going to come out in a wash. It's something that I can offer to my guests and to the public. And I think that's a public asset.
For everybody else's edification, typically EVs are running, they have about 80 kilowatt hour batteries. You don't necessarily charge it to that full amount, but it is with, I guess, Northern Electric. I can say that it costs me about $7 to $8, depending on, but in that range, $7 to $8 to get about 220 to 250 miles. It will depend on the vehicle, but that is kind of in line with what you're going to see for most electric vehicles. That $7 would then get them, if they charge the full amount, about 200 to 250 miles.
Right.
Again,
And
it is dependent on the car.
And I might have to bump that up.
Sure.
But I'm not looking to
Sure.
make money. I'm looking to break even on my electricity and,
Sure. Okay. Does anybody else, does this raise questions? I could keep going, but I want from other folks.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Albert, hi, this is Roy Carter.
Hey, Roy.
Where is 73 Seafood Lane?
Oh.
Where is the hotel?
Absolutely. It's the boatyard on the opposite end of town from Bruce's Boatyard. Not quite. You stop a little bit short. So you turn, if you're at the post office and you bear right like you're going down to Chesapeake Academy, you go down the hill, there's Ronnie Crockett's on your left, there's a little road right there that's Seafood Lane. And,
Okay, good.
And it's the parcel on the left before you get to John Friday's Boatyard.
All right, I know exactly where it is now. So it's only a 5-minute walk to the shops in Irvington.
Yes, sir.
You said you're going to put a little cafe there. Will that be a competition to the local?
I hope not. I hope it's additive. And I believe it will be additive. And we're going to be open in the morning, that's for coffee, and then in the evening for basic meals, wine and beer.
Okay, good. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Great.
I had one more question, and
Yes.
it's just slipped my mind. Does anybody else have questions while I try to remember what I was going to ask?
I would just say the chair's technical knowledge of EV charging surpasses mine, so please go easy on me.
You're good. You're good. I was not going to drill.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry.
Otherwise, I'm going to need a phone a friend, right?
Like I said, this is a passion project. I'm very supportive of seeing more EVs in the area. Oh, I think it wasn't a question. I just wanted to let you know, as a fellow EV user, the Best Western does also have a public charger.
Oh,
It's
that's
slow,
okay.
but
That's good to know. It's not on the ChargeShare site.
I think it's on PlugShare.
I check ChargeShare, not PlugShare. Now y'all get to hear
There
what
you
the
go.
real nerds, how real nerds talk. Thank
Yes.
you all. Thank you all for your time.
Of
I'm
course.
going to be in the car, but if you have questions kind of during your closed session, Don's got my cell number.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry to grill. I won't grill most people. This is just really a passion area for me. I think this is the EV charging is going to be the key to keeping our tourist infrastructure going. So, all right. Speaking of tourist infrastructure, as is great food, Jay, would you like to join us? Jay Wolfson.
Thank you all for having me today. Well, EV is fantastic, and I appreciate that. Burgers and lobster rolls are the draw at times. I appreciate you guys coming today. I've started a new project with my son, Duke here. Obviously from the fire and all that's happened in Kilmarnock there, it's been taking an extremely long time to get things moving and doing. So me and my son put together a new business plan to build a new burger business called Small Town Burger. It's a trailer, a custom trailer, beautifully done and designed to be put on a beautiful landscape piece of property in downtown Kilmarnock. We've already received approval and so forth from the town as well as county on the site and what we're doing with it. I guess I'm really here, we're almost at the finishing place of it. I don't know if any of y'all have been through Kilmarnock lately, but we're getting pretty close. It's a beautifully landscaped, it was an okay piece of land now. We've got lighting, I'm gonna have fire pits, place for kids to play cornhole and large giant Connect 4, and there'll be some music and just an overall beautiful add to the Kilmarnock landscape. One of the things that made me really want to do this and do it, quick, certainly it's money to have income coming in would be great. But it has to do with the energy in the town that I definitely miss. From starting up Northern Neck Burger back in 2013 and having an open restaurant consistently for families that's not super high-end and or low-end, and we won't say what those are, but it brought that kind of community feel to the community, and certainly missed doing that. I love charity, I love being part of the community, and so this is bringing me back into the community. So with that being said, the reason I'm asking for this grant is the expense of the grant is would be very helpful to me in a couple of different areas. I've already spent out of my own personal pocket probably close to around $200,000 to just improve the land and get the custom-built trailer to it. I'm looking for some added, funds to finish out the landscaping, which has gone way expensive, more than budget, as well as adding more to marketing, letting people know, look, I've changed from, Northern Night Burger to this small town burger, and I really just want to focus in on that new model. I'm hopefully have another trailer, summertime that will be mobile while this one sits where it is. So I'm just expanding my plan in this market and being part of the community again, and really that's my big thing. I've actually brought in a friend of mine, of the town, Susan Cockrell, who would like to speak on my behalf as well, of my relationship to the town and my passion for the town that we live in. So I'll let her do that, and then I'll come back and answer questions, and I think you all have my packet. I sent a revised one yesterday to kind of give you an idea of what I've invested into the town and what I continue to want to do with it.
Great, Jay, thank you, and thank you to the, just need a little box here.
I feel you, Susan.
I'm
Sorry,
vertically challenged at all fronts. I just came to share with you, and if I haven't met you, I'm Susan Cockrell with the town of Kilmarnock. Northern Neck Burger has been a destination restaurant for us since the inception. And this is a great opportunity. Jay is rebranding. He has a different business model. It is very current, it is very youthful, and it's at a strategic location right beside the ABC store, and not because the ABC store died. It is on the entrance to Kilmarnock on from the southern direction. We'll pray for you, Don. It's okay. It's all right.
Is it BYOB?
But it's at a great location.
It is
It's
a
going to
great
be a
location.
destination restaurant, and it is if you've gone by, the vibe is cool. It is very youthful, and this is a great opportunity. The town has been extremely supportive of Jay and all of the folks that have been affected by the fire. We have expedited all of his permitting. We've provided an opportunity for pop-up space at Town Center Park, and we're just delighted for him to get reestablished again. And then just the second point I would share with you, I think this is a great opportunity at a very holistic level. Jay has involved Duke, his son. We have a budding entrepreneur. We've talked at length about the need for 25 to 55-year-olds remaining in the county or coming to the county to build that next generation of entrepreneurship. And I think this is an amazing example. Duke's been in the business for, he's grown up in it. Because he and Rock were kids when they got here, but it's a good opportunity to continue that reinvestment in a family that is doing business here in the county and is going to stay in the county, and has, I think, as Jay mentioned, they are very involved at every level of their business and in supporting the charities work that they do here in the county as well. So I'm just lending my personal support for their business, but also the town has been very supportive of getting them reestablished as well. So I appreciate your consideration for them today.
Yeah, part of the dream of when we moved down here was to have my son, both of them, but I've got one that's started with me from the beginning of this journey. That's why it looks as fun as it looks. It has his twist, his vision, a lot of good marketing eye, and so when you look at the branding and so forth, a lot of that has to do with him versus an older guy and what the vision of youth wants to be around. And so that's a big piece that he brings to the business. So that's really all I have. Thank you, Susan, for sharing that. And I just look for any questions that you have for me.
Sure.
That's what I do.
I'm going to jump in. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you plan to innovate the business model from Northern Neck Burger to Small Town Burger?
Well, this is like basically an outdoor restaurant.
Okay.
Without roof and so I've got this beautiful, I've spared, obviously I told you what I spent, but I spared no expense with the design and with, we have an outdoor hand washing station instead of an indoor, and it's got, a dog bowl on the other side of it that automatically fills up, so it's friendly, dog, friendly. I've got upscale bathrooms that are part of it. Some of these things were not really for building code or they're not needed in building code and or health department code because of how the business is designed with the trailer. But I added it because it's important to have those things when you want to have people sitting down, enjoying watching the traffic go by or what have you. So I created a really beautiful atmosphere. There'll be music playing through the background. So I'll have, I may not have our Freak Shake milkshakes in displays, but I'm going to have upscale like ice cream sandwiches and like gourmet popsicles that are like, key lime pie and such like that. So, I'm going to have fun, whimsical stuff for people to be able to partake in and do. I'm not certain if I'll have a beer and wine license at the moment. I'm still staying that focus on kid-friendly, family-friendly. It's that place that fits in between when you get off the boat or when the family is done with the day and they don't want to cook and they say they want to grill, but they don't really, and they come in and enjoy. So that's kind of my niche. It's staying the same niche. It'll have more of a younger vibe feel, I would say, because I'm bringing on a younger vibe person. But not overly. Look, I know who our clientele is. I've been here now 9 years, so I know who loves and enjoys what we do, and I want to continue that.
What is the plan then for a fan of your Freak Shakes? I'm wondering, that brings me to ask, what happens? Are you planning to bring back Northern Neck Burger?
No, I don't believe Northern
Okay.
Neck is going to be coming back.
Okay, got it.
This is going to be the new concept. I may look for other opportunities in the town to build another location. I've looking potentially maybe doing a small town sandwich, small town Greek, small town. So there's some other good things that I've already kind of set infrastructure down for.
Sure.
If the right opportunity presents itself once we get this rolling. Because I do, the one thing that, if anyone knows about me, my family is, we just, it's smitten with the place. We love the Northern Neck. I can't harp hard enough that when, I was invited back here, I don't know, 3 years ago, I think, to do an EDA. The EDA asked me to come in and talk on behalf. And my whole thing is spend money on marketing. I want more people to come and see how wonderful this place is. And I want to be one of those places that people go, hey, I want to stop in and, man, I gotta give a spot there. That freaking place is awesome. Yeah, whatever. So, creating the energy, I guess.
I'm here, hearing
I have a
basically
question.
the need.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Karen, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was gonna say, I
Um,
just, I'm starting to think about a small-town food hall with all the different concepts.
Very possible.
So, anyway, please, Roy, go ahead.
Okay. Jay, you are leasing this piece of land, is that correct?
That is correct.
How long is your lease?
10 years.
10 years, great. We welcome you back to town.
Thank you.
This is just an observation. Last year, my niece and her fiance came down to stay for a week. And the day after they got there, they called me and said, what happened to Northern Neck Burger? That's one of the reasons we came here. You've been a good addition to the town. So thank you for reinventing yourself and for this proposal.
And that right there, what you just said, a lot of people have said that to me over the years, over the last year, certainly. And that hurts me inside because I love being part of that, that experience, that why they come down here, or one of the stops that hits them up. So that was one of my main reasons of really pushing hard to do something and get something going, because that excites me. Thank you, by the way, for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask a tough question that I hate asking, but I think it's important as we have new ventures coming in. You've already shared that you spent $200,000 of your own money on this.
Mm-hmm.
Is the money from the EDA grant needed, or is that more of a show of support?
No, it's needed. I'm running out of money.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes the decision easy.
I want to finish it up. I wish I had, and that money is not, it's loaned, it's backed money that's not actually, it's owed money that
Gotcha.
I've figured out.
It is helpful to understand that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm all in. I'm all in, people.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Does anybody else have questions for Jay? Perfect. Thank you
Jay.
very much, Jay.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
And you. All right, so next on the agenda, we have Sun Sacred Solutions, and that would be Miss Sanisha Taylor. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, you did.
Perfect. Welcome.
Thank you. So I am Sanisha Taylor, and I am the owner of Sun Sacred Solutions. I want to honestly come up to this microphone and tell you guys that after watching everybody else, I need some more work. So yeah, I need some more work, but I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to be in this room, because it really means a lot. I've learned a lot. To protect my ideas, I'm going to postpone and attend the next meeting more prepared. But I am very thankful for this opportunity. I really did not. I was just informed 2 days ago that, hey, the meeting is today. And I have 4 kids, so it was pretty, I gathered some information to present today. But like I said, just watching everybody else, I want to be more prepared. And, I'll try again.
Can I recommend?
Sure.
Maybe something super high level to understand would you be comfortable? Because there might be something that we could do to help you prepare as well.
Okay.
So if you just want to keep it high level, we could speak to, there's the opportunity for a planning grant, for example, so.
So you want me to go ahead and
If you just want to, just super high level, tell us what you're trying to do.
Okay, so I enjoy making all natural cold pressed juices, smoothies, elderberry syrup, and all the way even down to like sea moss gels. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of sea moss, but I get mine from St. Lucia. It contains 92 of the 102 minerals that the body needs. I'm more of a on the holistic side of things. So I just kind of wanted to bring that to our town, because we really do not have many healthy options here, and I'm that mom who, I'm pushing the natural products before I'm pushing, what the doctor prescribes. And you'd be surprised, like, I even work with doctors who believe in my products. So, yeah, it's pretty much along those lines of things. Juices, cold pressed juices and smoothies, and I don't know if you guys know, but juicing is the quickest way to get nutrients into your body fast. Yeah, like I said, I just didn't want to say too much.
Understood, absolutely
Okay.
understood. We respect that. Thank you very much, Tanisha. I
Thank you
appreciate that.
guys. Okay.
April 20th, 8:30.
April 20th at 8:30.
Okay. All right, wonderful. Now, Ms. Carolyn Quinn, would you mind representing Duggan for us? Good to see you.
Thank you all. Good to see you too. And thank you for the opportunity to come today. I will say, Sineasha has wanted to sell through my market, and she would be fantastic. So I think she needs a certified kitchen, but I won't speak to it all what she's looking for. But anyway, her products are amazing, and we would love to have them at Duggan Farms. So I'll put in that plug for her. Thank you. I am here today talking about our proposal for an environmental tourism trail at Duggan Farms. For those of you that are not familiar with Duggan Farms, please come and visit. We would love to see you. We are located just outside of Kilmarnock off of Route 3. Started about 8 years ago on a little picnic table with just 2 coolers and an honor box. The community here in the Northern Neck has been amazing. As I always say, I've always made more money in my honor box than I had product on the table. So there's a lot of folks that really wanted us to succeed. Today we have grown into a market that is an open air market. We open typically 10 months out of the year. We're 7 days a week. We sell through the market the produce that we grow on site. Plus, we bring in from about 6 other producers that are in the Northern Neck for their produce. We have baked goods, prepared foods, meat, all sorts of things. So we're kind of a full-service market. We also have a nursery on site that started just a couple of years ago that typically supports or highlights native plants, because that's something that's very important to our area. Virginia's starting to phase out a lot of invasive plants and really push for native plants. We also work very closely with the county when folks violate the Chesapeake Bay Act and cut down all their trees between them and the shoreline. It's really nice because we have the full list of trees that they have to replant, so folks will come to us if they run into problems with the county. So what I'm talking to you today about is an environmental tourism trail that we're proposing. The reason this really came about is we work with a lot of organizations in the community, like the Northern Neck Native Plant Society, the Master Gardeners, the Audubon Society, who are coming to the farm because we are focused in on pollinator-friendly planting, pollinator-friendly agriculture. We do not have an organic certification, but we do everything with sustainable methods, so we don't use any pesticides whatsoever on our crops. We don't use any chemical or petroleum-based fertilizers with our crops. We're doing everything with, basically fish emulsion and other types of fertilizers. So our pollinators that show up to the farm now have just been going crazy. We have beehives on the farms that are very active. So all of the folks that do like the annual butterfly count show up and count the butterflies. The Audubon comes twice a year to do their bird counts. We're really a hub for nature groups that want to experience real sustainable farming, agriculture, native plants, pollinator, all of that. So with that, we have discussed that we would like to put in a trail to get more educational material out to folks that are coming to see us. We have focused the business on being a very destination-oriented business. We really attract from all the way down to Matthews, Middlesex County, folks that can't find products that we carry anywhere else. We also have a marketing grant that we're functioning under right now that will allow us to market into the Richmond area, Northern Virginia, DC, trying to get folks down to the area and to sort of experience our way of doing agriculture. So we're asking for a new entity, but at an existing and very profitable local business. The proposal would build out 5 viewing stations on the property. There's a map at the back of our information that will show you where those stations are. It would be a pollinator station, a pond station, a honeybee viewing station, a monarch way station, and a birding station. So the idea is a person or group would come, they would be greeted by a docent, depending on whether they had a photography angle with them. We'd have a photographer on site, and the proposal, I should say, excuse me, back up a moment, also includes a photography studio in the farmhouse, which is on the farm. And they would be greeted and then taken to each station. Each station would have educational material about what you're seeing there, what the pollinators are, why they're important, the entire food cycle that, exists when you build these kinds of landscapes. And then they can have the ability to use an in-house photography station, or studio, which is very rare. There's not really a studio like this anywhere within 6 counties that we've been able to find. So you're getting both education and attraction of these groups that care about nature. We feel pretty comfortable that our proposal meets several of your requirements. We are building out infrastructure that will remain on the farm for the foreseeable future. We are going to have 4 part-time positions that will come open because of this. Those will be nature docents, photographers, those classroom instructors. We've already talked to those folks. They're ready to go if we move forward with it. We are definitely, committed to agriculture and share the commitment that the county has towards retaining agricultural entities within the county and supporting the region and its natural beauty, obviously. So we think we're a good fit for this grant. And with that, I'll just leave it there and see what questions you might have. Thank you.
Great. Who has questions?
I have a question. Carol, this is Roy Carter.
Hey, Roy.
Carolyn. And I'm very familiar with Dug In Farms and salute you for what you've done for the community.
Thank you.
First of all, are you going to have increased parking now for, obviously for the trail, if you're bringing more people in?
Yes, last year we put in actually an 8-space parking space up at the farmhouse. So about a year ago, I moved off the farm to get a little distance from the business. And that allowed the farmhouse to become open. We have our kitchen certified now, so we can do some cooking there. But we put an 8-space parking area up there, and that is actually intended to get more cars. We put in a 13 parking space early in the season last year, and then an 8-space up at the house. So we feel like we now have enough that we can handle larger groups like that.
So if I were coming to see the trail and all the products and everything, how much time do you think a person would be spending there to see all the 5 stations and then all your products?
Sure. If it were a self-guided individual that just parks and comes to see it, I would say it'd be about an hour. It depends on kind of what they're doing at each station, but if they're into photography, they're probably staying much longer than that, just because once you start tracking a butterfly moving around or whatever it is that you're looking at, it takes a little bit of time just to be, quiet and still. But I would say if you did each of the stations fully, it would be about an hour to get through them.
I was asking because I was wondering if there was an opportunity for Albert to put in a charging station.
We have talked about that. And he keeps saying,
Thank you,
like,
Carolyn.
you gotta get it fast, you gotta get a fast one for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, we're hoping that people that come stay at Refuel, so we're trying to get a combo tourism thing going where you stay at a tiny house and then you know, come to an environmental
Good.
farm. Thanks.
Well, I know you've been putting in 80-hour weeks ever since you opened it, and I look forward to seeing a transition for you and also for
Thank you.
ownership there.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Does anybody else have questions? Before I start, I jump in. Carolyn, have you been working, do you have anybody that you're working with that's a Virginia certified eco tour guide?
I do not, no.
Okay. Do you want me to share information on that?
That
I'm
would be,
curious.
yes, thank you.
Okay. Sounds like Sharon may also want information on that.
That'd be great.
Yes, because I think the state of Virginia is willing to help promote those who are eco-certified in their
Great.
tours, so. Yes, they do have a class. I think it typically starts in March. So, I know my husband and a couple of friends have gone through it, so. But it's, the free tour, or free marketing is always helpful, so.
Oh, yeah.
I was curious, the photo studio, are you interested, or are you thinking about doing rentals available to the community for that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it would be a studio that would always be open, and a first priority would be to those groups that were booking time to, if they came as a group, like, we're thinking a local garden club
Sure.
even that wants to do something like this. You know, it would always be open to them first, but any extra hours, because the house is public and part of the farm now, it would be open for bookings for whomever wanted to use it.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, wonderful. Anything else come up from anybody? I know I love the idea of agritourism. It's near and dear to my heart. So, what do you expect to be the breakdown? Are you already working with groups that might be coming in, and what do you expect to be that breakdown?
Yeah, we anticipate that we'll actually get one new group every month
Okay.
that we're open. Right now, we've got some longstanding relationships with folks who come and, you know, so they do the annual butterfly count, happens twice a year.
Sure.
The birding folks come twice a year. We know those folks, but Tom Martin, who's working with me on this, and is a photographer, has reached out to, there's a lot of photography groups that are in the, like, Gloucester area, Richmond, those things. They are always looking to book time at locations where they can bring their 30-person group to a location to, you know, have a day of photography, basically. So those are the groups that we're actively reaching out to. You know, once we were up and running, we would reach out to all the garden clubs, and the other groups pretty much know what we're looking at doing, like
Sure.
the other groups being master naturalists, master gardeners, native plant folks, because we work with them all the time.
Sure. Just an idea.
Mhm.
Friends of the Rappahannock might be an interesting
Oh.
group if you haven't. They're always looking to get kids more involved in.
Definitely, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And the Tides Inn is really interested. We have a long-standing relationship with the Tides because we provide food to them and do some other things. So they're kind of interested in it too, although they like to keep people on their property as much as they can, but we like to try to get them off.
Wonderful. All right. If there are no additional.
Carolyn, I do have just one more quick question. It's probably just a yes or no answer. Are you eligible for other grants through agriculture or trail grants by the state or the federal government?
I believe so. We are actually functioning under a large USDA grant right now. It's called Value Added Producers Grant. It's basically, there's obviously lots of requirements to it, but it's basically just to provide more local produce to local communities, is part of it. But it does have some marketing funds in it, and it also, you know, helps us with some labor costs. But that's a USDA grant, so I think we are pretty much eligible for other ones. We have not yet pursued those. Any other grants, we're starting to try to take a look at those.
That actually reminds me, there was another grant I saw recently, just because I'm sure everything helps. that was geared, I don't know if it was through the USDA or not. It wasn't the value added, but it was for, one of the use cases was tourism during the shoulder seasons.
Oh, right, there was a micro grant through the tourism.
Okay.
Sharon.
All right, you're on top of it.
So we're going to look into that one,
Okay,
yes, because I
perfect.
think that's coming up quickly.
Sorry,
Yeah,
there's
thank
a
you.
lot trapped in here that doesn't come out as often as it should. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Carolyn.
Thank
I really
you all.
appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it, thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Well, then we will move on with the Town of Kilmarnock's update. And we've got Sharon Phillips speaking for the Town of Kilmarnock, but she will also be handling the Lancaster by the Bay update as well with the Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sharon Phillips. I'm with the Town of Kilmarnock. I'm just handing out a couple of things this morning. We will first, thank you all for the hard work that you do. You have had an exciting morning, and there is much for you to consider. In reference to the grants that you were presented with this morning, I too have spoken with Sanesha, and she is just a talented young lady. I'm excited to speak with her offline later on today, possibly about the opportunity. She had reached out to me looking for, I encouraged her to come before the board this morning, and she was also looking, of course, for a kitchen opportunity. She would like to potentially locate in Kilmarnock. Just so many exciting opportunities. I've got to get my head back focused. All right. Restaurant Week. In the town of Kilmarnock, we are incredibly excited to share Restaurant Week with you. Last year, we started Restaurant Week in Kilmarnock and quickly realized that to move the marketing up to Virginia's River Realm would serve a much larger purpose. There are 8 great towns in Virginia's River Realm. Virginia's River Realm serves both Middlesex County and Lancaster County. Of course, the 8 great towns in Lancaster are Kilmarnock, Irvington, Whitestone, and Lively. So, of course, Lively has the Corner and the Oaks. Once you cross the river, the 4 great towns in Middlesex, Topping, Saluda, Urbana, and Deltaville. So Restaurant Week is an 11-day extravaganza presented by Virginia's River Realm, and it highlights the restaurants in the 8 great towns. And the promotion is designed primarily to support local restaurants in the shoulder season. We know that we push retail and other things, lodging, 12 months out of the year, and most of our businesses, quite frankly, operate on a 10-month basis. Restaurants, food purveyors, food trucks, they struggle during this time, so we designed Restaurant Week to help them in the shoulder season. So if you have the opportunity, get out there, support local, eat local, enjoy our culinary delights here in the Northern Neck. When we talk about a much higher level, of course, there are so many tourism mechanisms at play to drive tourism 12 months out of the year. So we are still working to drive that tourist here. We have to give them something to do, a place to eat, a place to go, all the ways that they can spend their dollars when they're here. So, again, Restaurant Week celebrates not only brick and mortar restaurants, but the amazing opportunities for food trucks, food for purveyors, and opportunities like Carolyn's, though she's closed. I think she's looking at not opening up in person, but pick up orders very soon. Jay with Small Town Burger, we of course are very excited for him to potentially open next week. I think it's next week that he's looking at opening. So we will celebrate him in Kilmarnock as well. Are there any questions about Restaurant Week?
I've asked you my question
Sure.
before.
Is it next week?
Restaurant Week, thanks, Roy. Restaurant Week is January 21 through 31. Some of the papers,
30.
sorry, Roy, I handed out a couple of handouts this morning. One, of course, is just my press release and just giving you a couple of more details. The other is a long piece that is specific to Kilmarnock. When we partnered with Virginia's River Realm created that logo for each of the 8 great towns. So we made it as easy as possible for the restaurants, the food trucks, and the food purveyors to buy in. There's no financial buy-in that they have to do. We're doing the marketing. We just ask that they update their menu, embrace their social media. We are driving tourism from a high level, and we are funneling it right down into those restaurant doors. So we are excited that we have participation from the restaurants in each of the 8 great towns. So hopefully, as you drive through your local communities, you'll see those pieces of advertising on their doors, on their social media.
Are any of the restaurants, I know we've talked about it before, but it was early on, are any of the restaurants doing special menus for Restaurant Week?
We do. So Hope and Glory has a fantastic, I believe they have an $85 menu.
Okay.
Chef Meseret is doing a lovely 4-course meal. So Restaurant Week, you can have high-end food such as the Hope and Glory,
Yep.
where they do a prefixed menu. At the very same time, you might just have someone who's the Pull-Up, which is a food truck at Town Center Park. She does incredible seafood, and she is just celebrating what comes out of her kitchen. So it doesn't always have to be. I have encouraged lots of the restaurants to embrace a gift card model so that they're not discounting their food, because again, we know that they're scaling back. They scale back their staffing, they scale back their kitchens. So it's an opportunity. If you say had a $50 purchase, you might get a $10 gift card to come back. So it's a comeback opportunity there. Again, I have restaurants in each of the towns that have embraced it and are offering special menus. Virginia's River Realm has a website and a landing page for Restaurant Week, and it identifies each of the restaurants, and if they have anything, if they're offering any kind of specials or incentives, you can find them there.
Awesome. That's really exciting to hear.
Yeah. All right. Irvington Road, just sharing with you a couple of Kilmarnock updates. Just want to thank the county building official who has been incredibly supportive for the property owners and the businesses that were displaced by the fire on Irvington Road. It is my understanding that the demolition of those 2 buildings on Irvington Road, including the 2 closest to Main Street, should begin by the end of the month. Is that about the right time?
Yep.
Okay. As in partnership with the Fire from Irvington Road, the town of Kilmarnock applied for and received a grant, a planning grant from DCHD. We have a kickoff meeting next week, and that is simply an opportunity to discuss the possibilities for where that property can go. Again, as we said, we are celebrating Small Town Burger, reopening on the lot beside AWL. And the resiliency of those businesses has just been powerful. We are excited, of course, that the Jeanery and Barclays also were able to reopen after the fire. So excited that those businesses have been able to stay the course. If anyone happens to have noticed, they broke ground on Starbucks. The silt fence is up. Starbucks, yep, Starbucks will go in front of Tractor Supply. Auto Spa is moving right along. I anticipate they'll be open here in a couple of months. On Main Street, in the old Merle Norman building, Keller Williams will open a small real estate office. Beside Keller Williams, which was Concordance, there will be a new ladies' dress shop or a leisure dress shop. So it'll be nice to have a new retail opportunity on Main Street. And that is just about my update on Kilmarnock, unless you have any questions.
The Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, oh,
Is
Dairy
that
Queen.
what's going in
Dairy Queen, yeah.
next to Great Fortune?
We're in the old KFC
The
building.
old KFC, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
This morning, they have the facade off of the front. With every layer that they take off, just exposes new challenges.
I'm sure. That building's been there a very long time.
I'm just gonna get my phone so I can do chamber.
Sure, perfect. Does anybody else have questions for Sharon?
All right, switching gears, I am just going to, Sydney was not able to be here this morning. She had just a separate meeting. And just speaking for Sydney this morning, of course, I am also on the board of directors. So Sydney asked me to share that the most Recent new members are Leaf Self Properties, The Bookshelf in Irvington, Paddle On, which is a outfitter. We are delighted to have an outfitter, and Beth Groner Real Estate. The chamber is in the process of planning the annual 2023 meeting and dinner, and the business person of the year, business people of the year are David and Katie Dew of Horsley Real Estate, and the chamber volunteer of the year will be Wayne Gallagher of NWP Energy. The chamber dinner will be in April. The details, I will share them as soon as we know them. Also, the chamber is also in the process of creating a 2023 Visitor Business and Directory Guide. Ad sales are due January 31st. Directories will be completed, printed, and distributed before the Memorial Day weekend.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
I appreciate the camaraderie that you and Sydney have, and you presenting for her, so thank you very much for that,
It is a beautiful partnership, and we look forward to working on it together.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for the hard work that you do.
Thank you, Sharon.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. Take care. All right. On to the next item of business. So we would, in theory, be approving the last minutes, but we do not have them, correct?
You'll do that at your April meeting.
Yep, okay. Those, I think we're all aware of the extenuating circumstances there, so we will get to that in April. The financial status report, Mr. Gill.
As you know, the EDA has two accounts, a general checking account and a CD. From the report that I emailed out, you can see that in the checking account, based on a recommendation from Jeff at the last meeting, I transferred the interest that had accumulated to date from the CD account over to the general checking. Also, administrative fees collected as of the end of December, a little over $7,000 plus interest earned, a balance there of $17,846.93. The ending balance in the CD is $60,000. I will tell you that we are still awaiting administrative fees from Williamsburg Landing and James Berry Robinson School. Have not received those as of yet. Letters have been sent, so you've got another $16,000 that should be coming any day. I know you've got $30,000 in requests today. You've got the $60,000 in the CD, so I wouldn't let the $17,000 balance in the general checking, keep you from, if you choose to do so, granting above that, because you do have, the CD, and it hasn't been touched since it was created in 2019. So I don't know if that $60,000 is the correct number for funds to be saved, put aside. It could be less. And also the bond that the EDA approved in October for the $5 million loan that the county got for public access sites under its capital improvement plan. I had planned on the county paying those administrative fees in June to try to spread out the income for the EDA, but we could pay that at any time, to help with cash flow for you all. So I guess the bottom line is maybe you shouldn't feel restricted by that $17,000 balance in the checking account if you choose to go above that in your grant awards today. And if I remember correctly, you all did vote at your last meeting to consider grants at each meeting now. So I know Senacia will come back, and she said she didn't know about it until 2 days ago, but when she handed me her application back in September, I told her when the date was, but that was a long time ago. So, but anyway, so she'll come back in April. We need to follow up on the Teal Marine Services. That was one that got postponed from a couple meetings ago, and I believe there'll be one more coming in April. So
Okay.
you'll probably have three at your April meeting to consider.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
So what you're saying is that we have the 17,000 in the checking?
You've got
and we have
17,000.
another 16 coming in
Yeah.
shortly? Okay, and then, so theoretically, those two numbers do the 30.
Yeah, I mean, if that,
Without touching the 60.
you could do that. Now, I don't know exactly when that, the Williamsburg Landing and the Jamesbury Robinson fees will come in, but they should be, at any time.
Are there penalties for dipping into the CD?
Uh,
If we were
we-
going to do that?
We have a one-time withdrawal with no penalty, one-time annually withdrawal with no penalty.
One time,
Yeah, and you can withdraw the interest at any time, so I've already done that. So you could make one withdrawal in calendar year 2023 with no penalty.
But to make sure we understand, so I see that $25,000 is what we'll receive for all of 2023, correct? So
Yeah,
we will receive another $25,000 in theory
In
at the end
24.
of the year.
correct.
Okay. And then in addition, the counties, I cannot
Yeah.
remember the amount the counties.
It's roughly I think it's in the $4,000 to $5,000 range, the
Okay.
fee.
So whatever we do grant,
The 1%.
well, we can go above and beyond, has to last until our October meeting?
I would,
Well,
yes.
actually, our next
Yeah,
January
yeah,
meeting.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
So we blow it all today?
exactly.
Have nothing else to give for the rest of the year?
a little anxious about that.
Yeah. Well, and I'll throw this out there too, because the EDA's been talking in prior years about how to increase revenue. Most of the revenue comes from the administrative fees through bonds. The EDA can issue up to $10 million of bonds each calendar year, but there's only so many out there. I mean, our bond counsel, the county's bond counsel, Sands Anderson, does a great job in directing bond applications to us when they are available, but there are just not that many available out there now. So that's, I don't know how you can increase the bond activity.
Right.
I don't know if that's a possibility. But, and I'll just throw this out there, there had been talk in previous years about the EDA maybe asking the Board of Supervisors for some funding as other agencies do. I don't know if that's the way to go, but one thing I will throw out for you to think about maybe between now and your April meeting is the county has received some ARPA funds from the federal government.
Sure.
And different entities have come to the Board of Supervisors and asked for some of those ARPA funds for various things. So maybe the EDA, could think about making a request to the Board of Supervisors for some of that ARPA money to help fund grants to help business activity and economic development in the county.
Absolutely.
And we've kicked around lots of ideas about how to raise additional funds, and they're all very complicated, time-consuming as far as the members' time here and all of that, involve travel and all kinds of stuff to try to do that, and I think it just didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
And I've always thought that the Board of Supervisors, if they could help us out in the easiest kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my general impression that they're relatively flush right now, so. I know
Well,
whenever there's money available, it tends to get spent.
Yeah. Well,
Do we need to make a motion to?
let me just also say with my other hat that, we're building $65 million in new schools.
I know,
$13 million of a middle school renovation, over $5 million worth of public access sites. So the board has, a lot of irons in the fire right now. So, and that's why I say, instead of maybe asking for an annual budgetary contribution, maybe a contribution from the ARPA funds would be more appropriate.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion to?
Well, I mean, I just threw that out there for you all to think about that. I mean, you can request that. It doesn't have to be, immediate. I mean, you could request that, after your April meeting. I'm just throwing that out
Sure.
there.
Well, the budget work starts.
Budget is actually, the budget call has been issued. It's due back February the 9th or 10th. I can't remember right now. And I'll put all that together and make the presentation to the board in early March. That's for the annual budget. As far as an ARPA request, you can make that at any time during the year.
But we need to go before the board. of
Yeah,
Supervisors.
you would need to come before the board and, you know, make a presentation to the Board of Supervisors. You know, this is why we need this. And, you know, I think the fact that the EDA has kind of transitioned from making grants solely to nonprofits to now, you know, making grants to for-profits, which, you know, some of the grants you've made recently, you know, have paid dividends. I mean, you see the one cracked yolk food truck all over Kilmarnock. The Gander Signs in Lively has you know, redone that building and is looking for you know, work now. And so, you know, that you've got some success, I think, in the grants that you've made. So I think you could make a case to the board to take some of that ARPA funds and give to the EDA for economic development.
I think, I'm all for that. I'd love to see us knowing that there's competing interests to make that request sooner than later. I think my only concern is not asking for the right amount of money, but I know a guy who might have. Don, do you have any kind of recommendation on what might be available?
Well, I mean, you know, and maybe we talk about this amongst us before the April meeting, and then.
Okay, I
and
didn't know
then-
if that would have to be public.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
my only concern was that too late, but based on what you say now.
No, ARPA requests can be made at any time during
Okay.
the year.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and we've got until the end of 2024 to spend that money, so, you know, there's time.
I'm sure we can help do that. I think I have two other thoughts then. Sugar ARPA money. I need to write everything down these days. Well, it's $10 million a year, and in this area, we don't spend that very often. I mean, there aren't enough projects to necessarily spend that every year, but do you know how Fredericksburg and Stafford, I imagine they easily use that $10 million?
You know,
So-
I don't know. It has to, you know, it has to be a bond request.
Right.
That the attorneys know about, and then they forward the request to the different EDAs. And, I mean, you all have approved bonds for Williamsburg,
Sure.
Landing, the Mariners Museum, Jamesbury Robinson, I think, was in either Norfolk or Newport News. So it doesn't have to be, you know, really local.
Sure.
But I just don't know that those, you know, those bond activities are out there right now.
Okay,
Because your bigger projects, like the new schools, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we went through the Virginia Public School Authority.
right.
With a general obligation bond. So, yeah, I don't know how we can increase the bond activity. I don't know if that's possible.
I'll reach out to Ian Ginger and see if he knows anything more about that, because I know, I mean, some of the larger, fastest I mean, Stafford County is one of
Yeah.
the fastest in the country. They're putting money into infrastructure every day, so
Yeah.
I don't know if we can create an inside track there. Probably not, but it's worth asking. My next question is about the future of kind of the EDA and the county. So in my mind, I would love to see money sitting there for matching funds when there is an economic development director. If that's really, but I don't know if that's really in the cards for plans with the county at this point. Not the EDA director, or economic development director, but what Lancaster 2035 is doing that we might support with matching funds and grants. Does that make sense?
You
I'm
mean-
sleep deprived right now.
What the EDA can do with matching grants? To
Well,
what?
just if the county would need to support, if the EDA would need to support county efforts for grants with matching funds. Or is this $50,000 just the EDA's and we don't need to worry about county initiatives in the future?
I don't think that the county would expect the EDA to do any matching
Perfect.
type.
Okay,
I don't think so. I think, see, the county cannot give directly to for-profit businesses, and the EDA can.
Right.
So I think that's, you know, that's the leg, the arm that can do that function, EDA can. So I think, you know, the county looks to the EDA more for that.
okay,
So-
got it. Just trying to figure out how that $60,000 could be spent, and if there's
Yeah.
something bigger picture we should keep our eye on too. But,
Not aware of anything right now.
okay,
So.
all All right. Good to know.
Don, I have a question. Maybe you're going to cover this later. The status of a assistant county administrator?
That will be taken care of. You'll probably have me at your April meeting, but I'm pretty confident by the July meeting, you'll have someone else sitting in this seat.
Good, because I would think someone that's assistant and EDA directed would help us find also federal and state grants and everything.
That's very true, and someone who could devote more time to this than I have currently, so. But that's, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty confident you'll have me at your April meeting, but then hopefully you'll have an assistant county administrator / economic development director sitting here in July.
Good.
We appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Don.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's really good.
Wonderful. All right. Well, then I guess that means it's time for our closed meeting.
Yeah, we do need to go into a closed meeting, and I think Glenn told me that when we do this, I think, Roy, we're going to lose you because we have to mute the public and then bring them back in. So what I'm going to do, Roy, I'm going to call you on my cell phone and put you on speakerphone if that works for the closed
Sure.
meeting. And then,
Sure.
You can, if you're using the same device, you'll have to come back in to the meeting to get back in right after the closed meeting is over. Does that work?
That works fine.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go get a plug-in for my ears and plug it into my phone, so
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
take me a
Well,
second.
that's fine. Do we need to take maybe a 2 or 3 minute break, or y'all good?
I'm good.
Good? Okay. All right, well, I don't have the language in front of me, but the Code of Virginia requires you all to make a motion to go into closed meeting when you're discussing things that are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act, and one of those things is the consideration of granting public funds to individuals where the negotiation of that could be, altered if this discussion was held in public. So that's a very general way of saying that, but that's the reason you're going into closed meeting. So if someone would make that motion and pass that motion, we can go into closed meeting.
I so motion to move into closed meeting per Code of Virginia.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Objection.
so we'll be in closed meeting. Glenn's going to mute the public, and Roy, I'll give you a call on your cell. I don't know how many people will go back and watch these meetings anyway.
I heard him say it's not recording, so.
What, kill the phone call?
All right, Roy, do you hear that? We're gonna have you just stay on Zoom.
Okay. Hey, Roy,
I
Yeah.
see a gesture, I'll yell.
we're gonna kill the cell phone and see if we can talk to you via Zoom.
Okay.
All right. John? Yes. No problem. What? Live stream.
Oh, you got a YouTube live stream?
Yeah.
Okay, get it.
Can you just kill the meeting and then restart? Sorry, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be doing, just for
Yeah.
planning purposes, one at every meeting now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you use the lobby and breakout room, or breakout rooms, they'll make.
You're speaking Greek to me.
We'll get there. I trust, I have faith.
You know, I'm struggling running